This is a second video involving the numbers of subatomic particles, mass numbers, atomic numbers, charges, things like that. The reason I made this video, there's not any new information, but in my first video, we kind of figured these things out in our head, and I found that a lot of students like it better when I break it down and show the equations for how to figure out the numbers of protons, neutrons, etc. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. There's no new information, just a slightly different way of approaching the problem. So I've given you the formulas you can use down here. Now, I'm not going to give these to you on quizzes and tests. You'll need to know these, but I've written them down here for our reference for working these examples. So the atomic number is equal to the number of protons. The mass number is equal to the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. And you can figure out the charge by subtracting the number of electrons from the number of protons. And so, let's see how we would approach this problem using these formulas. So the first thing I can do is say, okay, the atomic number is 92. The atomic number and the number of protons are the same, so I can immediately write down 92 here. To figure out the number of neutrons, I can use that the mass number is equal to the protons plus the neutrons. And so I know the mass number, that's 235. I know the protons, that's 92. So what I have is 235 is equal to 92 plus the number of neutrons. So if I want to get the number of neutrons, to get it by itself, I'll subtract 92 from both sides. So I'll do minus 92, minus 92, minus 92. And so I end up with 143 is equal to the number of neutrons. So I can put the 143 right here. And so to write my isotopic symbol, I can look on the periodic table and see that element number 92 is uranium. So I can immediately put that there. I've got the mass number. That goes in the upper left-hand corner. So I can put my 235 there. And I can put the atomic number in the lower left-hand corner for the 92. And the last thing I need to figure out is the charge. And so I can use that the charge is the number of protons minus the number of electrons. So my charge is going to be 92 protons minus 88 electrons. And that gives me a positive 4, so my charge is 4 plus. And let's look at one more example on the next slide. Okay, here's our second example. We're given slightly different information. In this case, we're given the isotopic symbol, and they want us to fill out the rest of the table. So I can immediately see that, okay, we write the atomic number in the lower left-hand corner, so I know that that's 8. I know the number of protons and atomic number are always the same, so I can also put an 8 there. We write the mass number as a superscript to the left, so I know that the mass number is 17. I can use this formula to figure out the number of neutrons, because I know the mass number and the number of protons, so I can say, all right, I know that the mass number is 17. That's equal to 8 plus the number of neutrons. So to get the neutrons, I'll subtract 8 from both sides. So I get 9 is the number of neutrons. And then finally, to get the electrons, I use this formula because I know the charge and I know the protons. So the only thing I don't know is the electrons. So the charge is -2. The number of protons is 8. And I have to subtract the number of electrons. So to get the electrons by themselves, I'll subtract 8 from both sides. And so I end up with -10, right? And this negative sign is still here, right? So on the right, I have, it's minus the number of electrons, right? But I don't want minus the number of electrons, I want the number of electrons, so I'll just multiply both sides by -1 or divide both sides by -1, however you want to think about it. And so I end up with 10 is equal to the number of electrons. All right, so if you're having trouble based on how we're doing in the previous video, I hope this video was helpful to you.